without further ado, T, I think you said you've got a slide deck this morning. Are you able to take over the screen share?
Yep.
All right, so I will pitch it over to you, sir.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for Katie for allowing the city team to participate this morning and share with you some of the things that are going on. So I'm going to go real quick through these, and if there's anything we need to come back to, you guys just stop me. A lot of these are slides that look familiar to you from previous presentations, but still stuff that's happening. So complete street projects that we have underway or getting ready to go underway here in the city of Winter Haven. We've got really 3 major projects. 2 of these are grouped together. So South Lake Silver Drive. This is a complete street project that goes from about the general area of Wendy's all the way up towards the hospital. We're doing a lot of improvements in that area in general, recently with the tennis courts, with the Trailhead Park splash pad, with skate park and amphitheater, all those things. So this just adds to that. Those bids actually open next week. So we'll see that construction getting underway probably in about 60 to 90 days. Avenue C and 2nd Street. So this is the area around Grove Roots from 1st Street almost all the way to US 17 on Avenue C Southwest. And then on 2nd Street from Avenue C headed southbound to City Center Shopping Plaza there. That is another complete street project that is going to open its bid next September 4th as well. So next week. Our expectation is we'll have both those projects underway at the same time, may even have the same contractor on both projects. It'll depend upon how the bids come in. And then the other one that we're working on right now that is just in the design phase, it's about 30% design, is Avenue K Northeast. And this is a project that will extend from 1st Street at Lake Silver Drive straight up eastbound to the college. So if you're familiar with that area, that's a pretty tight road, not many sidewalks in that area in general, yet a heavily traveled corridor by pedestrians and motorists trying to get from downtown to the college and vice versa. Just a reminder, complete streets, what we try and do is activate the sidewalks, establish sidewalks. Sometimes it's walking trails or multi-use pathways along the roadway. We want dedicated bike lanes or bike facilities, the active roadway, the safe crosswalks, all those things happening in there. One of the other things that we'll be looking at with the Avenue C and 3rd Street corner at where Grove Roots exists, it won't be part of the complete street project, but will come after that, is we're exploring converting that from a signalized intersection to a 4-way stop like we have in the rest of downtown area. That is a much safer treatment for those intersections where we have a lot of pedestrian, because one, it causes everybody to stop. And as you guys mostly know, people see yellow light and that means floor it. So it just creates some safe improvements there. Lake Conine Wetland Restoration Project. This is underway. This is, we'll wrap up this spring. This is a massive stormwater project up on the north side of town in an area that's somewhat within the unincorporated Polk County area, and then also within the city. It's a joint project with Polk County. Treats a massive watershed, and eventually we'll have some recreation components going into it as well. Just for point of reference, where my cursor is, this is Lucerne Park Road headed northbound, Lake Conine over to this side. So this is about maybe half a mile, quarter mile north of MLK Boulevard. Out at the airport, we've got lots of things going on. This big piece of concrete you see here is a new T hangar that's being built. I think we have like maybe 2 hangars that are not presently occupied at the airport, and we are in negotiations on both of those right now. So there's a lot happening at the airport between new T hangars, taxiway improvements. They are putting in all of the utilities that will allow us for a lot of economic opportunity at the airport to welcome new businesses in that area. You got to have the infrastructure before you can have the businesses come in and the occupants. So a lot of cool things happening. I always say this every time I talk about the airport. Winter Haven has a regional airport that is pretty darn awesome. I was out there last week. There were 4 Citation jets in some capacity out there, either on the apron or getting serviced, or one was getting reupholstered. This is a very, very busy facility and a great asset to Winter Haven. Something we need to do a tremendous job in marketing, so people that are in the aviation world or that depend on aviation to do local business know that we have that. Fire Station 3, this is in southeast Winter Haven. So for any of our realtors that are on board, you know, people talk about quality of life, they talk about safety, public safety, so police and fire. This is a brand new state-of-the-art facility that is coming out of the ground as we speak. It is at the corner of Thompson Nursery Road and Lake Ruby Drive, right behind the Dollar General. This will open up in April of 2021. Whitehead Construction is the builder on this. Brad Lunds of the Lunds Group is our architect. And this is a facility that will not only house fire services, but also have capacity for our police officers, our code enforcement officers, our building officers our building inspectors to work out of when they're servicing Southeast Winter Haven area. This is a new station, but it is not an additional station. This is simply replacing an antiquated mobile home station that we have out on Cypress Gardens Boulevard. So pretty excited about that. I'll also say that aside from this, we are exploring, or actually going to be submitting a grant next week to the Community Development Block Grant Program in efforts to try and construct a 4th fire station in the Havendale Boulevard area. Again, this would be a new facility, but not necessarily an additional facility. There are actually 2 fire stations that operate out of station number 1, and we would be able to relocate one of those units to a new property adjacent to Lake Hartridge Nature Park and expand our services there. So ISO ratings and those types of elements that come along with those would all be impacted to the good. Winter Haven Garden Center, if you followed our budget presentation a couple weeks ago, the city is in the process of acquiring the Winter Haven Garden Center from the Council of Garden Clubs. In 1965, the city dedicated the land that the garden center sits on, and then Gene Leedy actually designed and worked through the construction of this building that has been there now for all that time. Under the operation of the council has asked the city take this building over and still allow them to meet there. It expands our facility inventory. It's a great little spot right in the middle of a tremendous amount of public recreation in our North Campus, as we call it. And we're pretty excited about bringing this online right around October 1st. So this will be another facility that will be able to be rented out via the city's leisure services, parks and recreation operations. We'll put about $200,000 worth of renovations into this right off the bat. Lake Elbert Trail. This project is being bumped forward a bit. We're reprogramming some money to get this underway with respect to our construction design and any right-of-way challenges that we need to overcome. If you've driven State Road 542, you know that DOT in their project has put in the trail from Central Avenue to 14th Street along the south side of Lake Elbert. Our portion would take it from Central Avenue along the north side towards the college and then wrap it back around. It's about a $1.6 million project. We feel very confident in being able to bring this to fruition after realistically about 40 years in the design and planning modes. It has had several births and deaths and rebirths and redeaths, and Andy Palmer and the team that's in Parks and Recreation is doing a great job of making this happen. This will be a significant impact for Winter Haven if this can get done. We see it probably about a 2 to 2.5 year project. Winter Haven Recreation and Cultural Center. Just about everybody understands the impact that the field house had when we renovated Chain of Lakes Park. We are now taking the next step and doing a similar treatment on appropriate scale at the Winter Haven Recreation and Cultural Center. These are renderings that were part of the feasibility study conducted by Strawn Trout Architects. Taking that facility, and really it hasn't had a whole lot done to it since it was originally designed and built in the mid 1970s. It's a very institutional building. It's hard to navigate. It's not very open and airy. So what we're looking to do is expand the footprint slightly on the front and reprogram some of the other areas, repurpose them. One of the biggest additions to this facility will be a branch library for the Florenceville and Northeast Winter Haven area that you can see right here. And this is this space here right as you come in. You may recognize this little bridge system, very similar to what we did inside of the field house. So we're pretty excited about this. This is about a $5 to $5.5 million project that we'll be advancing this coming fiscal year. I expect the design, engineering, architectural design RFQ to go out right around the 1st of October. And probably within about 30 days of that, we'll release an RFQ for construction manager at risk services, and get that, probably about a year's worth of design, maybe a little bit less, but most likely also a year's worth of construction. The other thing that happens with this project is the addition of a new splash pad and some improvements on the outer grounds. It's not just about the building, it's about taking that entire site and really bringing it into the modern times. This is just some renderings of what the inside of that space would look like. Again, coming in, this new library and technology room here that not only helps our students and our families out there, but also folks that are looking for job skills training and application submittals and things that they need to advance their professional careers. We want to be able to accommodate that more effectively out of this facility.
T. Michael, can I ask a question on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Would that be similar to the field house in terms of there being phased where the building would still be operational, or do you think that it would probably have to close for a extended period of time?
I think I would expect that this one is going to have more impact than what we saw at the Advent field house in terms of being able to open. This is a smaller facility to begin with, and the areas that we're touching, really probably the biggest area that has the least amount of treatment is the gymnasium, but that's all new flooring and everything in there. I would think I hearken back to the 90s when I did a similar project at Simpson Park in North Lakeland, that basically we shut down the entire facility, went in and just started gutting it and rebuilding it so that we could get it done faster and more efficiently by not having to work around existing services. So I would expect we'd probably relocate most everything out of here for that period of construction.
Okay. Just thinking ahead as to how maybe Winter Haven PEP can help with some of the programming or after school stuff or something like that. But that's down the road, but just curious to get that in the mind. So, and
we may work with some other facilities around there. It's hard to say what the service environment's going to be. Mm-hmm. When we get into to doing some of this. We may relocate as much of it as we can to places like Rotary Park that we utilize during the summer, but we don't have a lot of utilization during the school year. So after school programming and things that we do out of this facility, that's another facility that's close by, may adequately support that.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good question. Lake Silver Skate Park, this is going to be opened up in about a little less than a month. Mid-September, we should be done. These pictures are about a month old. So this is on the west side of Lake Silver. This is the street course. People that have heard me talk about this facility are probably sick of me saying how large this is. This is a massive facility, in my opinion. Just to get out and walk on this street course, it's totally amazing to me that we're going to have a facility of this magnitude in Winter Haven. This is designed by Tim Payne. He's a world-renowned skateboard skate park design and builder. He's working in conjunction with Pannoni and Whitehead Construction, again, is the lead on this. This is the bowl. That street course is on the north end. The bowl is on the south end, and they all connect via this little pathway here. This, I think, is completely all poured concrete now. So this is about a month-old picture. And again, Lake Silver Drive is just up to the right here. And then the amphitheater, this again, a long overdue project. The original amphitheater built back in the 1960s, really served no purpose for the past 20, 25 years. We've done a handful of events. I could count them on both hands over the roughly 20 years that I've been here. All this space you see in here is going to be grassed berming. So when we do events like the 4th of July and maybe events around Halloween or Christmas or New Year's, you not only have actually a view shed that's uninterrupted to the lake, You also have a performance stage that, you know, prevents us from having to bring down our large portable stage. It adds to the excitement of other events that are happening here. This will be wrapping up at the same time as the skate park, so within the next, I'm going to say 2 to 3 weeks. Following right behind that, we are preparing a design build request for qualifications that will go out again around October 1st, maybe a little bit sooner than that, for the second phase, which is everything you see in the blue line here. We've touched all this stuff already. So now we're working on the eastern portion of MLK Park. This will be building a new restroom structure that is sufficient for the events and activity that we have on site, improving all of our walkways to accommodate ADA access. Winter Haven, or the Cypress Gardens water ski team, does some tremendous adaptive aquatics programs. Unfortunately, they've been doing those in the park. It's probably the least ADA compliant that we have in the system. So we're excited to be able to move that forward. The other thing that's happening here, the 2022, Winter Haven will host the World Championships for water ski shows, show skiing. This is a combination effort of the Cypress Gardens water ski team and Polk County Tourism and Sports Marketing, along with USA Ski Show, USA Show Ski. Let me get this straight. So that is the World Championships in 2022. That is the Olympics of show skiing, and it will be here on Lake Silver in Winter Haven. So getting all these things done in advance of that is just kind of serendipitous. It's really cool that we'll have the South Lake Silver Drive will be completed, the park will be completed, the garden center will be in our inventory. We'll have all these beautiful improvements there. Just really a great showcase for this North Campus area.
There's a chance to give our legislative delegation, especially Representative Killebrew, a shout out.
Yes.
Because to make some of that possible, we did get an appropriation of $200,000 and a FERDAP grant for $200,000. So we got $400,000 there. So, you know, shout out to the delegation.
Absolutely, absolutely. That takes us over the top of being able to get that project done. It would be, you know, we could get a lot done, but certainly not to the extent that we're pushing for without all of our local delegation carrying that water for us. 4th Street, Streetscape, and Market Piazza. This is the first 2 phases of this are really the Streetscape and the Market Piazza. This project is out for bid right now. This was designed by Pannoni. Again, local folks doing a lot of work for the city. This is where you see the Streetscape noted there. That is taking the block around Carlton Music that has not already been improved and putting down the pavers and the period lighting and really making that look like and feel like the rest of downtown. And then the Market Piazza is from the Chamber to the Winter Haven Ambulatory Surgical Center, taking that 4th Street parking lot, flattening it out, putting brick pavers down for the parking spaces, and making that an additional event space that we can eventually be hosting our an ongoing farmers market, outdoor open air market in that space in the future. This, like I said, is out for bid right now. We have a pre-bid meeting next Wednesday, and the bids are scheduled to open on September 15th.
Is the dog park included in that bid, or is it right now just the streetscape and the market?
It's just the streetscape and the market, Katie. What we've got money set aside for all 3. The biggest priorities for us at this point were the streetscape and the Market Piazza. The Joyce Davis Park exists as green space today. The other improvements really need to get underway. So we wanted to see what that bid came in at, and then we'll work towards the design on the dog park component.
Thank you.
The other thing that's happening downtown is in the CRA budget that's proposed, it hasn't been adopted yet or even endorsed by the CRA board, is the expansion of sidewalk cafes. We've experienced the use of parklets in downtown with Main Street's CityWorks Expo. We implemented parklets immediately in the early stages of COVID to help our businesses survive. What we want to do is make those more of a permanent opportunity for our downtown restaurants. So expanding the sidewalk, it will impact I believe it's around 12 parking spaces on Central Avenue by bumping the curb lines out to the travel path, the edge of the travel lanes, and creating additional sidewalk space so our restaurants can have outdoor seating, which in today's environment is so much desired. So we've got money set aside for to complete the design of these in an area from 2nd Street to 3rd, or I'm sorry, from 4th Street to 3rd Street on Central Avenue. And we've also proposed funding to actually construct those next year. And if those are successful, then the next phase would be from 3rd Street further eastbound on 2nd Street to create additional opportunities in hopes of helping our restaurants prosper and even luring more into the downtown. For our youth athletics, Sertoma Park athletic field renovations. This is another facility that's had incremental improvements over the years. It's been within our inventory since the early 60s. It is now time to do some major improvements on the athletic fields out there, expanding fence lines, modernizing all the field lighting to LED lighting, improving the general conditions for all of our young athletes that are out there. We just this past year finished improvements on their concession building, complete renovation of that. So this will be kind of the final piece for a short period of time anyways. And then we're going to look at seeing what we can do along the shoreline to expand recreation there on the west side of Lake Ship to coincide with the Sertoma Park improvements. Sorry for the cloudy pictures on these. This was a last minute addition late last night. This is one that I'm pretty excited about. This is the Rowdy Gaines Olympic pool improvements. We spent several $1 million improving Chain of Lakes complex last year, but the one area that we didn't really get a chance to touch was the pool entry area, all the changing facilities. This is actually a part of the building that was never air conditioned from early designs in the 70s. And we have gutted that, reconfigured it, and created new entry points, elevator access to the 2nd floor where Theater Winter Haven does some of their class work. Really created just a world-class entry point here for our swim teams and our pool patrons. They're actually installing furniture in this space today. I expect that this will be open as a entry point within the next 10 to 14 days as we started high school swimming last week. Actually, the high school started swimming before the schools even opened up. So this bottom picture here, just as an example, this is from the pool deck. This is the old lifeguard room. There's a whole new entry onto the pool deck. And this was all a giant block wall that has been cut into and made into a new entry off of the parking lot. There's a bus drop off there, just a really great improvement. And that is all of the capital improvement projects I want to report on this morning. Lots happening.
Wow.
I'd like to give this report out to a lot of times to realtors, because as you're selling homes in Winter Haven, people are asking about what's going on with this, that, or the other. There's a lot happening that you may not be aware of. I encourage anybody that's in the real estate realm to reach out to us. You can reach me at City Hall or at mstavros@mywinterhaven.com. I'm happy to come out to your real estate firms and give presentations and updates on what's happening, so that becomes part of your selling package. One last thing I do want to mention, State Road 542. I just got an update about 5 minutes before this meeting. They will begin paving the final paving on phase 1, which is 1st Street to Buckeye Loop Road. I believe they'll start that next week. It's about a week's worth of paving. So if you travel that corridor, you might want to avoid that. That's exciting to see that one come to conclusion. They'll have punch list items for, several weeks hereafter, but getting that final paving down and some of the MOT removed will be great. State Road 542 Phase 2, which is Buckeye Loop Road to the east side of US Highway 27. They will begin soft digs out there around September 8th, which is really the commencement of that project. It will take about a year for that to be complete. So we'll see less impacts on this western half of that road. But for our residents and folks that are out on the Country Club Road area, Cypress Wood, that end, watch for some impacts, and, just ask for your patience and cooperation over the next year as DOT moves that one forward.
Well, T, that's an incredible amount of projects that have been going on, and very, very exciting to see continuing to move forward, and certainly commend the city staff on the call, city manager, her, and you, T, for project managing all of these, and the commission for approving them and having the kind of foresight to look beyond just today, but what we're going to need in the future. So that is incredible amount of stuff. TJ, something
I
else?
could add one last thing. I pointed out a lot of these things that are going to request for qualifications, that are they're going out for bid. I know you've got a variety of people on here. We try and emphasize time and time again, we want local dollars to stay locally. Every time we spend money with a local firm and their local employees, those dollars transition 7 times over before they ever leave our community. So if you have the capacity to be involved in these projects, please pursue that. Sharpen your pencils. We still have to be competitive in our bid awards, but we'd love to see the involvement from local vendors. Also, if you are in the sales side of things and you have materials, goods, wares that would be of benefit to the city that are things that we procure on a regular basis, please reach out to Bethany Owen, our procurement officer. Make sure you're on our bid list. We can't break rules or overly bend rules to keep business locally, but we definitely want to encourage all of our chamber members, all of our local businesses to be pursuing the business that we can provide. If you don't bid on it, there's not a whole lot we can do. So please pursue those every chance you get.
Absolutely. And so before I move on to the Growth Management Department update, are there any questions? You guys are self-muted, so if you have a question for T. Michael before we move on to the city projects, feel free to unmute yourself and ask that question.
I did have a quick question, Michael. On phase 2 on Country Club Road, where it meets Dundee Road, are they going to put any lights or anything there? I'm just thinking, because now it's already hard to make a left turn off of Country Club Road onto Dundee Road, much less crossing 2 lanes of traffic.
Is that Ryan that's asking the question?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So Ryan, unfortunately, no. So when DOT designed that, I remember going through that with them. There's a mobile home or an RV community that's on the south side of the road, just up from there, that they had to make accommodations for how do you get in and out of that. We pushed to try and get a signalized intersection there, even to signalize the one further back at Overlook, where it ties back in. That's just not in the mix for them at this point. That's why we've really pushed, from our side so much about if Sage Road could come to fruition. I know that was a question that somebody was asking early on. That's an existing signalized intersection that would give very clean access from the Country Club Road area. But there is not a signalized intersection planned for Country Club where it presently exits onto Dundee.
Okay, thank you for the answer.